I don't have a goldfish pond in my living room, and I don't drive a Lamborghini. But let me introduce you to my office. I have 11 HP 8300 power workstations. They share monitors. I have 5 high-performance minis, and I have 8 power laptops, along with 5 smart TVs that double as monitors. Hi everyone, I'm Big Dom, and as you can see, I'm trying to get my office a little more YouTube friendly for some more advanced videos. But in here, it's not really for show. It's all about a lot of automation and the things that I use in my SEO and marketing campaigns for my clients. So let's take a little deep dive. I want to talk about some things that are what I consider to be important prerequisite knowledge as you start to move into learning how to use softwares like MoneyRobot and GSA Search Engine Ranker, SEO Autopilot, Ranker X, etc. So let's get started. My primary business is I do a very highly specialized form of SEO, which I refer to as web promotion. In the semiconductor industry, it is a bit different than other industries. It is extremely competitive on Google, and because of the high value of the products involved, the keyword bidding is in the extreme. It also requires highly specialized knowledge to understand how scientists, researchers, and engineers actually search for the highly specialized needs and demands that their industry requires. I also do affiliate marketing, and I utilize my operation and the same systems and softwares to help my clients dominate their competitors. So let's take a look at what you need to understand how to get started on your road to doing backlinking, which is really posting successful blogs and turning that not only into an ability to rank your websites, but to actually use it as a marketing tool. Now, my day starts about 4 a.m., and I'm in the office checking on what's running already and firing up all the other systems. And during that time, I watch a lot of YouTube in the morning. And this was an individual that sort of caught my attention on YouTube a few weeks ago, and I started following him and was sort of the inspiration for the basis for this video. And the reason I picked up on this guy is because he's got some videos about XRumor and GSA. And XRumor is like GSA Search Engine Ranker, but it's even better. It's made by a Russian company. I purchased a license maybe close to 10 years ago, but I never ran the software because at that time I was just really, learning GSA and some of these other systems and approaches, and that was kind of over my head in a lot of the documentation, and everything was in Russian at that time. So when I saw this, I just started to follow this guy. And not to say anything negative about him, I find him a little entertaining. He's just getting started. His channel's a little bit mixed, but one thing he does have is a sort of a good understanding of how to run XRumor, GSA Search Engine Ranker, Scrapebox, and other marketing softwares. And that is what I think most people imagine they want to be able to do, is sort of run these softwares and use them to sort of dominate the internet. And because the internet isn't just all Google. But I also picked up on things that he was doing wrong and sort of started to see how probably people perceive what might be done with some of these softwares. So let's just take a quick look at some of the systems. So let's start with something simple like MoneyRobot. Now, MoneyRobot, when you make a campaign with this, basically, you're only going to have one article in this field, which is why it's important that you spin the article, because you don't want to make the identical post. So I cover all that in my other video about this. But after you've run a campaign, you select that campaign and you go up here to the URLs tab. You can take one of these URLs and copy it and paste it into your browser. let's take a look at how it got assembled. So this became my random title, but it's not totally random. It's a spin tax of various assortments. I embed a video into mine, and you see the content. But basically what this does is create a blog posting. And when you run a campaign with MoneyRobot, you will get between 9 and 10,000 backlinks. But the main strength to this is the Web 2.0 blogs that run in here, these Web 2.0. So that being said, let's take a look at something else. Now, here I'm remoted into one of my systems, and I recently acquired a license for SEO Autopilot. And this is my first test campaign, and it's still running. And currently, I've got, if you look down here at the bottom, I've got, it says total submissions, 19,966. Let's see, when I go to my view submitted URLs, let's give it a second here to load. I'd like to throw an ad in there. And then I get the whole list of URLs here, but we don't have to scroll, total submitted links. So right now I'm up to 20,000, and this isn't quite done yet. So this is a little bit more, this is a much more robust environment, this SEO Autopilot. And with this, I can't go into the settings here because it's actually running, but just wanted to give you a sense of that this does a higher level of posts, and it does multiple posts. So you're not just using a single article. And ultimately, you know, for the really high quality stuff, that is not what you want to do. You want your stuff to be much more high quality. For this test that I'm running, I'm using YouTube videos. So I don't have to worry about I'm going to do any damage to my URL ranking for websites, because YouTube and web pages and SEO for Google, that's a different metric for ranking. So I don't have to worry about doing any kind of harm. And this lets me, you know, see how many total links it's going to produce and analyze the end result and look at, you know, what my success rate is. Now, let me just kind of go back to my, you know, my inspiration for this video, because I was watching probably better than a week ago, one of his videos where he was basically boasting about how he got 100,000 backlinks for his business, and he was, you know, showing a little bit of the software shots, but ultimately he was using this tool, which is Ahrefs. And Ahrefs is the must-have tracking tool for anyone that's doing SEO or affiliate marketing or any type of marketing, whether you're doing YouTube, web pages, blogs, affiliate marketing, etc. This is the tool and what you need and how you're going to analyze that. But while I was watching him talking about these links, wasn't not too many more than a few days ago, he had sort of a rant video in here talking about, you know, how he suddenly took a ton of damage in terms of his rankings. And of course, at that time when I was watching the first video, I said, well, of course, because he's basically just sort of spamming the system, you know. And what happens is, if we take a look at, let's go back and take a look here, because on this system, I have some other things running. Like, you know, this is Ranker X. I got a blank license here, so I don't have to show my other projects, but very similar. I'm going to be going through this in a video too, but kind of similar to or on par with SEO Autopilot. But basically what a lot of guys do is they will use a product like this, like, you know, SEO Content Machine, in order to create or scrape articles and spin them and create high volumes of articles to use for their postings in these more advanced softwares where you're going to fill in a lot of postings. So, for example, let's take a look in one of my other systems. And this one is a GSA setup. And what you got here is, this is GSA Search Engine main software, which I also run with GSA Capture Breaker. And in addition to that, I also integrate Capture Sniper. So if Capture Breaker doesn't capture it, it falls back to Capture Sniper. And sometimes I even use 2Capture because I pay for captures, because softwares like XRumor and SEO Autopilot, you cannot integrate third-party software like this. You have to use third-party API and pay for those services. Here, this is all self-contained. You don't need any indexing service. You run the software. You've got 2Capture breakers, and I run the GSA Search Engine SEO Indexer along with the URL redirect, which lets you wrap keywords into your indexing. And all of these connect and work together simultaneously when I'm running a campaign. So you get a little understanding. But if we actually click on a campaign and look at the settings, you'll see in GSA they have a lot more types of platforms that can be posted to. And there is no real limit in terms of how many that you can post to. This software is capable of also going out and finding its own resources. But a lot of people buy search engine ranker lists, SER lists they're referred to. And there's a number of sources. You can Google it. And but, there's a whole science to this, even with some of those lists. You have to know what you're getting and how you're using them and for what resources. And just like everything else, you have to construct your campaigns. In here, you can put literally 1,000 different articles, and they can all have spin tags in them, and you can control a huge amount of parameters into your postings. You can also embed your own images. Also, SEO Autopilot also allows you to do that, embed your own images, so you can really create some very high quality posts. So, that being said, let me go back here and let's take a look at my guy at Tactical Marketing. So, because basically, when you kind of watch some of his videos, and not knocking him, he's got a good handle on his softwares, but not on his approach with a lot of these. Because what he's doing is just sort of, rough scraping articles and just, literally. In fact, I was watching one this morning and he said he got an email that somebody said, stop spamming our website, kind of thing. So if you do a poor job, these Web 2.0 blogs, they are literally created for the purpose of trying to influence the internet. But if your stuff is really crap, at some point, they're going to just clear that stuff out. And you have to have, you have to be able to analyze your end result. And that's where, these sort of tools really come in. Because, for me, I can look at my client's backlinks. You can see here from my client, this is their main competitor. Their main competitor is 10 times larger than them. And you can see, I do a very high quality backlinking strategy for them. And I get some very excellent results that are literally unparalleled compared to what their larger competitor is. In terms of the value of the phrases that I compete for raw lead generation, sort of non-branded searches, I crush the competition. But that's because I do not only are my blog posts intended to get backlinking, but also page ranking for keywords. And that gets tiered up into levels to finally point to the money sites of my client or my affiliate marketing or whatever my resources are that I am attempting to generate traffic. Now, before we go any further, it's important to understand that the internet is like the ocean. It goes much deeper than you can see. And when you do a search on Google, what it's doing is bringing the top 10, the best and the newest results to the surface for you. And this is why Google has a major algorithm update every 3 months. But in truth, they are updating every day because it's not one ocean. There are many databases around the world for Google, and they are updating in a cascading fashion along with other search engines, country-specific search engines as well. But it's what lies deep below the surface of the water that actually influences what comes to the top. Now, as I was doing this video, I didn't realize this was just coming to completion. So the total number that I actually completed with was just under 20,000. So as opposed to, say, MoneyRobot, where you'll get just under 10,000 on average. But of course, these are more complex in their setups. You're not going to have a single posting. Like here, I clone the project. And if we open it up, we see the setup. And just like MoneyRobot, there are multiple diagrams to choose from, and there's a diagram editor. But the complexity to which you construct your campaign is much more involved. And you can see here under the Web.20 blogs portion, there's tabs where you're going to create multiple entries. And for this particular diagram, there's 8. But under other diagrams, there are more. And so the pattern follows with each type that you need to fill in order to get this to, get it into completion for running mode. That being said, 20,000 links, if I was pointing those to a money site, what would happen? And they were suddenly detected overnight, that's a red flag. And that is basically what happened to my man at Tactical Investing. He made a tremendous amount of links. When you run up 100,000 backlinks in a day or two, there's a high probability, even without indexing, you're going to get into trouble because they're going to get detected. Too many, too fast. And that's a big red flag. There were some other issues that I picked out in his scenario. But the other thing is, like with this, you have third-party integrations here. And one of them is here, third-party APIs, your capture services, spinners, content sources like Article Forge, and indexing services. Okay, those indexing services ensure that all these backlinks get submitted. However, that's kind of dangerous depending on how you do it. In this particular campaign, I didn't use any indexing service because it's just a test. Whatever gets picked up, it's fine because it's just promoting videos, YouTube videos, and Google loves YouTube because Google owns YouTube. So it's a little different scenario, and I can safely go forward with this. But just like the makers of MoneyRobot will tell you, GSA will get you banned. Well, any one of these products can get you banned or do damage to your domain ranking and your positions on search engines if used improperly. So understand that these products take some time to master. Now, GSA, at this stage in my years of experience and using all these products, GSA is, to me, the best one. GSA is something you can do without any other third-party services. You don't need third-party captures. You can integrate, two softwares. And actually, if you have Xrumor has a capture breaking program that comes with that package. You need a license, and that also requires as a $10 monthly fee as long as you're running it. But they have XEvil, which is a capture breaker, and you can integrate XEvil into this as well. So you don't need any third-party APIs. You also don't need third-party indexing because you have this that does that for you. And of course, there's a lot of configuration in all of these, and many. This is not a tutorial about the specifics, but with something like this, you could acquire a list or gradually over time build up your own list with this software and create your own. And you can also create lists for this with Scrapebox, but that's another video, I think. But in this particular case, you could do 100,000 backlinks or more over time. But you want to do it in the right way that's beneficial with long-term benefit. And these software, especially GSA, can even follow up on forum posts And actually, Xroomer is even better for that, where you can simulate responses on forum posts. But if you want to get into using these both for SEO, promoting your videos, um, and most importantly, to do affiliate marketing and really, which is, multi-level, because you're going to be using it for the SEO factor, and you also want to be able to get to a point that you can use these actually as marketing tools. And that takes time. Learning the basics of the setup is one thing, but you have to run a lot of campaigns and learn the minutia of the types of scenarios you're doing, the quality of your content. There's a lot of things involved with the setup, from making sure that the emails are working, and you don't need third-party proxies with this, which is another really good thing, because all of these softwares have uh, proxy scrapers built into them, and you can configure them, and they will, like for example, here we can configure proxies, and you can see all of these softwares have this built into it, and you can configure some basic options here. It's pretty easy to get involved with, and it will scrape all the proxies, free ones, that it needs in order to make its posts. And of course, understanding what is working for you and what not working, and how to learn to analyze that, that's all going to fall under use of tools like this. And I strongly suggest you start out with Ahrefs. SEMrush is also equally good. This just happens to be my preference. I spend a little under $200 a month for what I get, because I do some client tracking, but I also pay for the Keywords Explorer tool. This is just one of the best things that you can use, because you can get keyword data, actual keyword data about what people are searching for based on any search engine. So let's just do some stupidly simple example like diet pills. And now it will tell us how difficult it is to compete, and we'll start to see the top phrases. And we'll click down here and go view all, and it will give us the top phrases of search volume, global search volume, and there's just a plethora of data in here. And this takes time to learn as well. You can find what the parent topics are, what sort of extended searches, long tail keywords as it's commonly referred to, questions that were asked. This is also really good if you're not only going by search engine or region, but you could do like YouTube. You're making videos on meditation. So you want to know, when you're tagging your videos and making your descriptions, and your titles, what are the top meditation phrases? And here they are: meditation music, 261,000 volume, meditation, and so on and so forth. It'll take you right down the list. So, there's a lot of these other tools like TubeBuddy, and I tried another one, UVid or something, vidIQ. They're nice to have added onto your browser, but at the end of the day, this will outperform all of that. You only need one of those free versions so you can see perhaps what competitor tags or what the competitors use as their tags on their videos, and then you can do all the keyword research in here. And this can get pretty complicated getting around in here. Another thing is the Site Explorer. Site Explorer, you can take any domain name and get something started. Now, let's do this. Let's look at what ClickBank, what data it has for ClickBank. So we want to just explore ClickBank's site, and I like to go to the original overview. And oh, look, it's got a very high traffic value that it's estimating here. And now let's take a look. What it's really doing here is giving us a breakdown of its pages. And they've got a lot of blog content, a lot of things that talk about how to do affiliate marketing and make the most use of their stuff. But we can actually see here those links, and then under keywords, look down here, and of course, a lot of it is, a lot of that is the word. We'll probably see a lot of the word ClickBank, obviously. But here, make money online. Let's see how much they rank. And these are the organic searches that are being tracked externally. And Hrefs, they are a crawler and indexing service as well. So they get a lot of big data. And they have various packages of all sorts of things. But you could see very valuable stuff. So it's a great way to analyze your competitors and look at, get a feel of all the stuff that's going on. There's, of course, then you want to look at, this is how you would learn about your backlinks. And you'll actually see the links to the backlinks that you create. Like, I have to examine the ones that I do for my clients. And I've become so proficient with it that the backlinks that I generate and have built long-standing value actually generate traffic because my clients are global. And unlike Google and Bing and Yahoo, every country has its sort of own little search engine, and there's a little plethora of other search engines out there that have we call them poor algorithms, but in fact, they respond better with these type of backlink posts than they do with than actually Google or Bing or Yahoo, because it takes a complex algorithm to really sort through the content. But all of these things have value in creating a value to your domain name ranking, and as well as actually generating traffic. So these are like, to me, this is like one of the most essential tools, because when you get in here, you can get lost in here a little bit, but it's not that difficult to sort of just kind of learn how to do this on your own. And I've got like some of my clients' actual tracking in here, but I use this keyword tool like daily and constantly, like using the other tools as far as, the Site Explorer, so that I can see what's going on with competitors or competitor site, or I want to analyze some niche. You want to look at what the other guys are doing and what their site does. Like, for example, here's a blog site, Fit Small Business. These guys have a very successful blog site. And so I wanted to analyze, as I'm doing one myself. And so now I can go to the site audit. Site Explorer. Put this in. I go to the main overview. And now I can see all of their blog pages and all the keywords that are being detected, that people actually searched and were tracked going into their website for. And so some really, really useful data. And getting in here and looking at this is how you develop an understanding for the things that lie beneath the water. Now, one thing I want to really kind of be crystal clear about, my competitor now here has 56.7K backlinks. Their primary competitor, which is 10 times larger a website, they are the leader. They have 17.4K. And you can see they lost 1,000K. In fact, every day there will be new ones added, and many are falling off. And what I have done is always try to keep them in a positive on a daily basis. And this number of 56.7K was a very long time in the making. In fact, this has been a 2-year process, and gradually over time, taking them up to a level that gives them sufficient rank and, more importantly, page ranking with keywords based on these much higher quality backlinks. that allows them to pretty much dominate this much larger competitor for the raw organic phrases that are non-branded. Understand that my client with this particular website gets 5,000 visitors a month on average and is a $170 million a year semiconductor test equipment manufacturer. I cannot have their website being penalized because of poor backlinking. Now, just a quick note on Ahrefs tracking system. This is an external tracking service that tracks by big data rather than you having to give it information at like a keyword list and have it running those lists against an API to report back positions from Google, Bing, and Yahoo. I use advanced web ranking for that. But what I'd like to point out to you here is that you don't really see everything. You get a nice piece, and this data updates daily, but it's more than enough to make accurate determinations. For example, it says my organic traffic for this site is 2.4K, but this site actually gets 5,000 per month. And the much larger competitor, it's showing at 7.2K per month. So I can make a pretty good judgment call that if this is reading about half of my traffic, that this is also only reading half of their traffic. However, it's making a determination based on the phrases that people actually search and are tracked entering this website. Now, something I want to point out to show just how successful I am with this. My client's website has a traffic value of 10.1K currently, where the much larger competitor averages 3.1, 3.2, and they remain pretty consistent around that number. Excuse me. But as far as the external tracking goes, for what this system is tracking, that people actually come into the website with key phrases and comparing it to Google's keyword pay-per-click, that is the value that it's giving. And again, if we know that this value is half, there's a good chance that the other values are also in half. And in fact, I think my next video should actually be about this system so you gain an understanding of how to actually look at and track your results, because this is an important tool and I use it daily throughout the day. Now, the important thing to take away from this video is that when you use MoneyRobot, RankerX, or SEO Autopilot, these softwares provide the link lists that your campaigns will be posting to. They're not going to be giving you anything that's going to get you penalized because the site has malware and pop-ups and a lot of other things that has basically made it that if you've got a post on it, it's going to impact you negatively. Even posting 20,000 backlinks in a week with this product, SEO Autopilot, would be very dangerous if I was running indexing along with it. Having those links appear in a very brief period of time is unnatural and will trigger a red flag with Google and other search engines. So the real thing that you want to do with good campaigns is run them slowly, over time. And with RankerX, SEO Autopilot, and MoneyRobot, and MoneyRobot's only going to give you around 10,000 or less, you're okay to run a little more liberally with their product because their number of backlinks they're going to provide is less, and without any direct indexing, over time, on 10,000 backlinks, you'll maybe only see about 600 in tracking with Ahrefs over the course of a 4 to 6 week period, just letting them get crawled organically. And I know this because I do a lot of testing. These are the results for a new internet property that I've recently started. And I did my first backlinking campaign approximately 8 weeks ago. And you can see just organically, out of those 10,000 backlinks, I've now got 986 that have been crawled and detected. But this involved no indexing, and I just let it go to see how much naturally it was going to do over time. And one last takeaway from this If you take a look at Tactical Marketing, the guy that I mentioned earlier in the video, and many others, you'll see that they operate with a VPS. They lease a VPS, and there are some companies that actually have them with Windows systems specifically for this purpose. And they have softwares already pre-licensed, and of course, you put your own licensed software on it and you run it from the VPS, not from your home or business office. That being said, I don't do that. I run everything from home. I have a extremely high speed internet connection, and I run a lot of systems in here. But these systems, I use proxies, paid, or using the free proxy scrapers that are built into the softwares. I also have a software to scrape proxies, but I always make sure that I operate behind a VPN. Okay, and there are several services out there. You get a license cheap. You can run 5 copies of this, pretty cheaply, like I think $99 a year. And that basically concludes this video, and I hope it kind of now takes you to the next level of your understanding with some of these things, but most importantly, that you just can't go out there and build 100,000 backlinks overnight. I've seen so many people get involved with these things, and then it ends disastrously. And when you've put some money out into some of these products and spent several weeks learning and getting your first campaign going, and then you finally run that campaign for days or a week, and then you realize a week later that you've been devastated, they just walk away from all of this. But however, these tools are so powerful, especially GSA Search Engine Ranker and XRumor, that you can really do things in a way that allows you to actually promote with your affiliate marketing and build ranking for your websites and generate traffic through a variety of platforms. But learning the minutia of these things takes time. So that concludes this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Follow me and give me a thumbs up. Thanks, everyone. Till the next video.